guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. I'm here at a special filming spot location because guess what? We have something special from this iconic Japanese brand. What is it? This is a 2025 updated Infiniti QX60. This is the LUXE Black Edition. But before we get into this Harbor Gray, that's the name of the color, Harbor Gray QX60, let's talk about what's going on here. So Infiniti is slowly going through their lineup. They're actually killing some vehicles off, but then they're also redesigning some vehicles. And really it all started with the QX60. Now you could see the redesigned QX80 taking a lot of people's attention, but still this mid-size 3-row luxury SUV, that segment is still on fire. So what they decided to do is make a few changes and bring out this LUXE Black Edition. But what I want to find out is if you're looking for the best mid-size, do you go with this QX60? Another thing to think about is that for 2025, no longer is there a V6. There is now a 4-cylinder VC turbo, variable compression turbo. Let's go ahead though, let's dive into our QX60 and see if it's the one you should be buying for 2025. Let's check it out. Right off the bat, I do love the color. I have to admit that Harbor Gray with the black accents sets it off pretty sporty for a mid-size SUV. Now up front, you do have full LED lighting, LED daytime running lamps, turn signals, and that projector beam headlight. Working our way down, I like the way they did the lower grille area here, but it's not functional. These corner vents should be functional. They should be functional corner air curtains, but they're not. But it does look good, or put a massive LED fog lamp in there and still have that nice sculpted design. Let me know in the comment section how you think about that. I'm gonna have to give it a zonk. Now, as we come across the front grille, think of it as the waves in the ocean. Love that nice artistic form, blacked out. The new Infiniti badge actually is illuminated, so you could actually see this coming at you at night, sort of floating there. We work our way down. We do have the Infiniti name stamped in the lower part of the trim, and it's Infiniti with an I, not a Y. And then on the lower part, it's all flat black, fully functional with your black accents. So everything that you see that's black would be a shiny chrome finish on other trims. Even the trim down here would be shiny chrome. I like the black. It gives it definitely a sportier look. And that illuminated new updated Infiniti badge looks fantastic. One thing I do want to point out is they hid perfectly up top this forward-facing camera. So you are getting a forward-facing camera, which is great. But let me know what you think about the front of the QX60. Now, as we rise up, part of Infiniti styling is this peak. You see how it rises up? And this is what separates it from the Nissan Pathfinder, because the Pathfinder and the QX60 sit on the same chassis. You can see that nice pearlescent sparkle from the Harbor Gray. Now, as we come around the bend, what are we working with when you go LUXE Black Edition? These split spoke wheels, nice 20-inch wheel. Love the nice, simple, clean design, gloss black. The big zonk I have is around the fender openings, the flat black. This should be all Harbor Gray. I don't know why they did that. To me, it makes it look a little cheap. Like this is what you would find on a Pathfinder, not on a QX60. You do have all-wheel drive. It is front-wheel drive base, but you do have all-wheel drive. And like I said, the big change is underneath the hood, which we'll get to that in a second. Coming down the side, black LUXE gets you blacked out on the mirror caps, LED turn signals. We do have our 360-degree cameras. The zonk, I gotta give it, why do we have bright, shiny metalwork around the window openings and the chrome finish on the door handle? Up top though, you're gonna have those close roof rails that are gloss black, part of that black LUXE package, but I do have to zonk, anything that's silver and shiny should be black. Let me know how you feel about that in the comment section. Along the bottom here, they do stamp the Infiniti name in nicely, but this should be painted. This should be all body color, no flat black on a luxury SUV. Working our way towards the rear, I've always liked the way they work the trim on the rear quarter window. Not a lot of brands do it like that, but like I said, it needs to be black on a blackout edition. Now, when we Circle around backside, you do have a nice long painted spoiler. Up top, Harbor Gray. And then you'll notice that we have a black Infiniti badge. So we have silver on the front, black on the back. Give me cohesiveness, Infiniti. Love the LED lighting, all LED lighting. And even the way that water falls into the body, the way they kind of carve that out like a watermelon, really nicely done. All-wheel drive badge in black, the Infiniti name spelled out in black, and QX60. And then working our way down to ground level, no exposed exhaust, but they do a good job with the lower bumper. They're not trying to make that look like exhaust. It's a trim. Normally, like I said, it's chrome, but I like the way it's blacked out with the Harbor Gray finish on the backside. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood because there's a new engine that I want to show you. Not sure if you're going to be happy with it, but let's go check it out. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hood struts. Underneath the hood, it's a sad story. First of all, that engine cover, nothing to write home about. Now, when you see turbo, you're gonna be like, oh my God, is this a V6 turbocharged engine? Nah. Gone is the V6. In its place is the 2-liter inline-4 VC turbo engine. What are we looking at? 268 horsepower, 286 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60 in about 6.5 seconds. The good news, though, is you could actually tow more. You could tow 6,000 pounds with this vehicle, and it is mated to a 9-speed automatic still, so that is still there, just 2 less cylinders and now a turbocharged engine. The vehicle weighs 4,747 pounds with the all-wheel drive. So let me know what you think. How are you feeling about that engine? I can't wait to take you for a spin in this thing now that they got rid of the V6. But if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's fire it up and see this zoom off. All right, guys, we are inside this 2025 Infiniti QX60, the Black Luxe Edition. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, how much is this SUV, this luxury SUV, especially with the black accents? I'm loving the Harbor Gray paint finish. MSRP, the way this one is optioned, is right around $63,000 with the all-wheel drive. Let's see what you get when you go Infiniti to the door panels. I do love the materials. Soft touch up top, nice contrast stitching. All of that aluminum finish trim looks fantastic. And then look at that triangle in the center armrest area. That's part of your Bose sound system with the contrast stitching, really nicely padded armrest. Door pocket is decent. You could probably get 2 bacon turkey Bravos from Panera and a large hibiscus tea to wash it down. Now going from the door panel to the dash, more of that classy aluminum trim, the stitching, the soft touch, just a little bit of gloss black, no big deal. You do have a pass-through that's perfect for a purse, a sack, a satchel, a man bag. You got your 12.3-inch infotainment system screen, all touchscreen capable, very easy to use, very familiar with the icons, all the different things. You can bring up your weather, your sports scores, the traffic, fuel prices, they got it all. I could pull up the forward-facing camera, does have trajectory with the 360, or I could go into reverse. The problem is it's on the grainy side. So it's actually making the road look like it's more of sand covered rather than paved. So that's a little bit of a zonk at this price point. But then you hit park, you hit home, and you're right back where you started. Working our way down, you do have a real volume knob, dual climate knobs, which are great. You do have 3 stages of ventilated seats, 3 stages of heated seats. And then down below, you're gonna have wireless charging, a USB-A and a USB-C. This is gonna control the electric shifter for your 9-speed automatic. You got your start-stop button right on the other side. And I like this silver trim, is very classy. We got the D mode button for your drive modes. And then if you don't want to touch the screen on your infotainment system, you could use this direct drive control knob, which is really nice. 2 cup holders, large. And then the new Infiniti key fob for 2025. They finally updated it after 2,600 years. It's got remote start. More of that fine leather material with the stitching. Open it up. What do we got in here? You got a 12 volt, and then you have some felt lining. This is where you're going to be able to keep your VHS collection. Remember how everybody used to shoot home movies. Remember my dad had a camcorder the size of a news cruise camera. Now you could save those VHS tapes in here. Maybe your parents filmed your first date when your girlfriend came over for the first time. Now you could keep those in here so nobody else finds them and puts them out there on the interwebs. Seats, the leather, love the headrest, the stitching, nice soft bolstering, electric assist for the passenger, electric assist for the driver, blacked out headliner, which is good. And then of course we have that power shade for our panoramic sunroof. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I want to show you behind the flat bottom steering wheel in this Infiniti. All right guys, business time. You do have 2 memory seat settings. I love this dark aluminum sill plate with the Infiniti name that illuminates at night. You got all your seat controls, easy to get to. Seats have enough real estate for all sorts of body types. I'm 6 feet tall, plenty of headroom, because remember this is mid-size. And then you got a leather wrapped steering wheel. I wish they would have done something a little nicer on the horn button. This sort of reminds me of the material on a tether ball. So would like to see some stitching and stuff. Flat black on all the switch gear. You do have paddles to go up and down that 9-speed automatic. And this is a power tilting telescoping steering wheel. You also have Pro Pilot Assist, which is semi-autonomous driving. And then, of course, we got that nice large digital gauge cluster. You got your different drive modes, Eco, Auto, Sport, and you could get personal. That's where you set it up for your own personal favorites. I'm gonna leave it in Sport. And then you also can scroll through different information that is displayed in the center. A nice little cornucopia of information. So nice that it's easy to use, easy to figure out. And I think the one thing it's missing for this price point, there's no head-up display. Kind of surprising. But let's get into the mid-row and third row and see how good this luxury SUV is. All right guys, mid-row time, and what's nice about this is that there's no captain's chairs. Oh, Captain, my Captain. What movie is that from? Robin Williams, Dead Poet Society. Anyways, nice that they have a bench seat. I know a lot of people want this, but you still want your nice luxury, right? Your leather luxury. It does slide, each of them individually. And then you do have nice soft armrests with 2 cup holders. Backs of the seats, you got some leather, some soft touch, nice large pockets. You could put easily, I would say, 5 issues of Mad Magazine back there. You got a USB-C, USB-A, heated seats, but no ventilated seats. That's gonna be a zonk at this price point, but we do have our digital AC controls. And the seats are really comfy, manual security shades. And then we got our Bose sound system back here that goes throughout the whole vehicle. AC vents are up high, but why don't we go ahead? Oh, one more thing, the seats recline. Wow, they recline quite a bit. I mean, look at that. That's pretty darn good. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in that third row and see if there's enough room for a human in this QX60. Third row time, I'm back here. I wanted to show you how the mid row moves. Now you do have a button on the back of the seat right here. I'm gonna press that and the seats really eject far forward. Lots of real estate for your passengers to get in and out. The problem is, this is why a QX80 exists. My knees and the way I'm sitting, I have to hunch over a little bit because I'm close to the headliner. The good news is that you can manually drop back the seats a tad, which I'm gonna do on both sides here. And that definitely is a game changer. So now I feel better. The problem is my knees are still a little too close to the seat, and I could only move the seat up so much. You have USB-A's back here, 2 cup holders. I wish it wasn't hard plastic. Like, just give me some soft touch material. And you got a place for your phone, which is kind of weird, but this is not a charge pad. So you got this little rubber thing, I guess. So if you, I don't know, pick your nose and then wipe it where your phone is, you could wash this off, I guess. But the seats it's just too flat. You see how the seat is like a wooden plank covered in leather material. It should have a little bit of kind of shape to it. But with the seat all the way back, it's doable. The only problem is that compromises your cargo space. Speaking of cargo space, let's see how many barrels of pickles you could get from Costco and get it into your luxury QX60. All right guys, cargo area time. Now the nice thing is that Infiniti did a great job hiding the button for the rear hatch, and this is to do it the old-fashioned way, which we're gonna do. You hit the button, nice electric assist. Got the third row up. Let's talk about how much space there is. Now, with the third row up, you are looking at right around 15 cubic feet of space. Fold the third row down, it goes to 42 cubic feet of space. Fold down the mid row, it goes to 75 cubic feet of space. Now, to put the seats down, you just manually get the headrest. Everything else is gonna be manual, and I'm okay with that. 60-40 split, nice and flat. And then of course that bench mid row is gonna do a 60-40 split as well. Let me show you some of the touches we got. We do have a 12 volt for when you're at the beach. Get yourself an electric air compressor. You can get everything inflated for your kids without huffing and puffing. The third row does have the USB-Cs underneath that little rubber cover there, which I was trying to show you when I was sitting in there. And then the other thing that I like that's nice is they give you some great storage. This is perfect for when you're at the beach. You don't want to get all the sandy flip-flops and towels and shovels and all that. You could put it right in here. The one thing that's a big zonk is this. Let me show you. You think you could use this as a cooler? You can't. This is not a drain plug. It just covers a bolt. So kind of stupid that you can't drain it. So I guess you could technically still use it as a cooler. You're just gonna have to get a big straw and suck out all the dirty melted water from the ice. But why don't we go ahead? If you're ready, I'm ready. We got a totally different freaking engine in this thing. Let's go take it for a spin and see how it drives. All right guys, we are inside this 2025 Infiniti QX60. I have it in sport mode. We're pulling away from the light, and it really is a different experience driving this QX60 with the 4-cylinder turbo compared to the V6. I'll be honest, it's not the best driving experience, and I feel like it's a little bit of a step backwards. I don't enjoy driving really any of the Nissan/Infiniti vehicles that has the variable compression turbo. It's not a very smooth driving experience. The way the turbo builds boost creates this herky-jerky thing, and you never feel like you're in the sweet spot of the torque delivery. And you'll see that when we go on throttle. Now, I do have it in sport mode, which is going to adjust how the transmission and the engine behave with one another, the throttle sensitivity, steering sensitivity, but it still happens no matter what mode you're in. Now, the good news is I love all the appointments on the interior. The nice large 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster, the 12.3-inch infotainment system screen well within reach. All of the array of buttons are laid out very nicely with the knobs. And you're getting all of the high-end finishes in here. The leather, the stitching, the seats are superb. But when it comes to this 4-cylinder turbo, I mean, once you're on boost and you're flat to the floor, it eventually starts to really create a quick pace driving experience. It's just that initial on-off throttle and going from a slow speed, it just doesn't feel 100% right. I feel like every time I have to change a lane, change into a different lane or merge or something like that, it's just the transmission really has to downshift the 9-speed before I'm able to get off and run into the races, so to speak. But the amount of storage that they have up front is great, especially with the bridge center console. You have plenty of room in the mid row, and the third row isn't too shabby either. Now, you are getting some usual 4-cylinder turbo noises coming from underneath the hood, which I'm missing the V6. I'm missing it. And here, I'll show you a perfect example. Like, I'm gonna slow down a little bit here. On throttle, it just takes a lot of time for it to drop down and get you going, which if you're trying to merge or you're trying to pull out into traffic, I feel like that's gonna create a experience that you're not gonna wanna have. But visibility out the windshield is great. You have your blind spot monitoring, your lane keep assist, all those great safety features. We got the Bose premium sound system. But it's really the seats that are just so comfy and are gonna make that longer drive much more pleasurable for you. It's interesting just how different this feels from the Nissan Pathfinder, even though they're on the same platform. But like I said, just surprising some of the changes that they did make, especially what's underneath the hood. When you're on light throttle, like pulling away from a light, you're not gonna notice much of what I'm talking about. It's when you really pick up the pace where I feel like there's a disconnect. The 9-speed automatic is great, great transmission. I just feel like the gearing is not right for this 4-cylinder turbo. But watch when I go to pass. See, it has to downshift before it does anything. The all-wheel drive is great, gives you tons of confidence, and it's very well planted. I love the way the hood is sculpted. That allows you to have good visual reference points as you're going down the road, especially if you're not used to a mid-size crossover SUV. But like I said, it just the V6 was I think the good placement for this SUV, especially when you look at, say, like the Acura MDX, which would be comparable to this vehicle in size and price point. Sound deadening material is great. Not a lot of road noise, not a lot of wind noise. And they did a great job with the chassis itself for creating a nice, comfortable experience when it comes to overall driving experience. But here we go, on throttle. Great shifts from the 9-speed, no doubt about that. Just the engine obviously is buzzy, and it just doesn't go when you want it to go. It's like you got to think about your step before you do it, and I don't like that. You do have those plastic paddles behind the wheel to go up and down the 9-speed automatic. And like I said, I was just a little surprised that there's no head-up display in here. But the overall comfort and the finishes really brings us up to a special level. And I'm loving the Luxe Black Edition is the way I would spec it, especially this Harbor Gray color. See, once you get up to highway speed, it's actually quite comfortable and smooth. And I could go ahead and change the mode. We can go down into auto, which is more of that like comfort mode. And then if you go back to sport, then that's going to, like I said, change how the engine and the transmission behave, and the throttle and the steering. Let's get onto the highway for a few more seconds here. But like I said, I mean, you do have more towing capability, better MPGs than the previous model year. So that's something definitely to think about. But I hope that this has been a good overall review of what the 2025 Infiniti QX60 is about with the changes that they made. We're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, been another great day, a hot day, but a great day with this 2025 Infiniti QX60, that Luxe Black Edition. Definitely want to thank everybody at Infiniti for allowing us access to this press vehicle. Let me know what you think. Are you gonna stick with a 2024 model year QX60 and have the V6? Do you like the turbocharger? Let me know in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raise Rise family. Got to give it up to Stephen Flood. He's working the camera like the champion that he is. He actually has a championship belt that he had made for himself so that he could proclaim that he is the best in the world. So thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.